Okay, so we're going to do a quick interview practice. Obviously, we start with taking our lens cap off, opening our camera, which will turn itself on. Now, a few things to mention. I'm just going to press record now so you can see as I go. Now, first things, camera stability. If you move around, the camera moves around. It has something on it called autofocus, and as long as you're not bouncing around, and motion detection, as long as you're not bouncing around too much, it's not a major issue. See, there I've moved and there it is. It also has face detection, and you'll see it as a green square that comes up in the camera. The other thing about an interview subject is framing. In framing, we do not want too much white space above them. We also want them pretty much in the middle of the frame. Now here, obviously that's wrong. There we go, that's pretty much the middle of the frame. I've only got a little bit of white space above them. Right, now, okay, I'm pretty much ready to roll, so I would say, hi there, Michelle, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. What I'd like you to do is tell the people at home, or wherever they may be, who you are and what you do.
My name is Michelle Lawrence and I'm the director of Link Up UK, which is the charity that is running the Family Tree programme in Newham.
Thank you very much. Okay, so the next part is obviously preparing your interview subject by giving them the microphone. Now, unless you know the person very, very well, it's probably not the best thing just to go up and start touching them. It's probably not going to go down well. So what you suggest is that what you want them to do, if they're wearing a jacket, it will just pin to the lapel of the jacket. But if they're just wearing a t-shirt or a top, then you ask them to grab the microphone, pass it under, and then through and then out of the top, which I'm going to ask Michelle to demonstrate. Say hello, Michelle.
Hello.
There we go. And then you can say with permission, you will position the microphone. I'll do that, that's okay. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to position it sort of relatively high so that we try and get as much quality sound as possible. Right, so that's now pushed through. It's pulled through here. Make sure that this microphone is not on. It's now on. It's not a radio mic, so it has to actually go somewhere, and it's going to go into the camera. We talked about it before. There was actually a sound socket right here. You plugged in, lens cap off, and you're now ready to shoot. And then, obviously, shoot your interview. One other thing to remember. At the end of your interview, before you let the person go wandering off, don't forget to take this out, otherwise you will be following them as soon as they get about 5 foot away from you. Okay. Okay, so this time we're going to try an interview using the tripod, and we've already put our microphone into the camera, so I'm going to press record, and hopefully what we're going to be able to demonstrate to you is the difference in the sound quality and the stability from this playback. So I'm going to ask the same questions before. Michelle, I'm going to say, what's your name and what do you do?
My name is Michelle Lawrence and I'm the director of Link Up UK, and we're running the Family Tree programme in Newham.
That's great. Now, one of the things we might want to look at is, don't forget you're behind the camera, but you still got to think about your active listening skills. So I'm going to ask Michelle an open question, and the open question will be, Michelle, why is diversity important? And more importantly, why is it important that we capture good memories of diversity?
Diversity is a fact of life throughout the world, throughout the UK and throughout London and definitely throughout Newham. It's a huge fact of life. And that diversity has made Newham, London, the country, etc., the places that they are. A lot of the things that we think of as being quintessentially from one area have been influenced by all the different communities that have come over. And so when we're looking at diversity, I think it's very important that we look at the positive contributions that all the different communities have made.
Okay, so diversity brings positive contributions.
That's correct, yes.
So what I think you're saying is that all these different communities that have come to the UK are bringing different strengths.
That's exactly correct.
Okay. Is there anything more you'd like to add to that?
I think that a lot of the problems when people look at diversity is that there's a lot of negative images that are portrayed in different medium, whether it's on the television or through press. And what we're trying to do, and what we're trying to do with the Family Tree programme, is get some positive stories out there, some nice memories, some positive impacts of the different people that have made up Newham, both historically and today.
Okay, so if I could summarise that for you, what I heard was that this project is important so that we can talk about lots of different influences and contributions that groups and individuals have brought over time to a place like Newham, which is very diverse, and that it's also important to get lots of positive stories out there, which is why you've chosen Good Memories.
That's correct.
That's great. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I think that's it, but thank you for asking.
Great. Okay, so we've demonstrated some active listening skills. We've used the camera. I've remembered to turn the light on, which was quite good. Light is important because you won't always have good light. You know, these are things you have to think about. Okay, so the other type of microphone that we use is the handheld microphone. As you can see, here's the on switch. So yeah, we're on, we should be recording, we should be getting good sound quality. The point of using this type of microphone will be to have more than one person shot and to ask interview style questions. So for example, hello again, Michelle, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
That's great. Obviously it's very important that you put the microphone in front of the mouth. Otherwise, if you say, how are you? Then the microphone is not going to pick that up. Yeah. So the question would be, can you tell me a little bit about how diverse the area you grew up in was?
I grew up in an area called Cockfosters, which is in North London. And like most areas of London, it is incredibly diverse. When I went to school, my mum used to call my friends the United Nations because they came from all different corners of the land, if you like. And so yes, very, very diverse indeed.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, the area I grew up in was probably a lot less diverse. Liverpool, although it's in some ways quite cosmopolitan, had much more divided communities. You know, you had areas that were very black or very Chinese, but not so much as cosmopolitan. And the example is obviously this allows for more of an interplay between the interviewer and the interviewer and the subject.
Another point of using the handheld mic is that the interviewee can become the interviewer, so it's my turn. So Paul, you've asked a little bit about my childhood. I'd like to find out a little bit more about yours. What's your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory was pushing my 3-year-old sister into the coffee table and getting belted for it from my mum.
Did she get hurt?
No, I did.
Okay, any childhood memory that doesn't involve acts of random violence?
No, most of the things I remember are usually things about falling over and hurting myself, and yeah, I did quite a lot of that.
And therefore you see, it's a lot easier to use in that way.
Yeah.